Hey, welcome to the home video vlog. I'm Cody, and this is where I share what I've added to my collection recently, what I've been watching the last week, and what's next for this channel. I've had a busy week of watching movies both at home and in the theater, as well as shopping for new movies for my collection, so I wanted to dive right into this and share with you what's next for the channel. So you've seen in the past week I've been posting a lot of videos kind of walking through my movie collection, and recently my movie collection has surpassed 2,000 movies, so I'll also be posting in this next week a full walkthrough of my entire movie collection, over 2,000 movies, and I'm really excited to share that with you. In addition to that, I'll have some upcoming videos with more store walkthroughs, since I know you guys enjoyed my walkthrough of Mad Monk. And then I'll have, of course, some new movie reviews to share with you. I'm looking forward to seeing the new movie Fall Guy next week in IMAX. So there's lots of great content coming up in the next week, and make sure you hit the notification bell down below and the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of it. Now, I also have been adding some new titles to my movie collection, but I'm not going to share those with you just yet because I'll probably be doing some upcoming haul videos to share more details about those with you. But a lot of the movies I picked up recently have been format upgrades, where maybe I had a movie on DVD but I wanted to get the Blu-ray or 4K copy, so I'm excited to be sharing more of those updates with you soon. So now for what I watched this week, starting with what I watched in the theater. The first movie I watched in the theater this week was the new movie Challengers featuring Zendaya. Now, I was looking forward to seeing this one, and I decided to give a try to Cinemark's XD format, which is very similar to IMAX, and that was a really cool experience to see what that movie theater format was like. It was really nice, had a really big screen and great sound, but I wasn't as impressed with this movie, unfortunately. I knew going into it kind of what the plot was going to be, and that was going to be more drama and everything, but I wasn't impressed by the plot itself that much. I will say the acting performances were great here, and there are some really interesting filming styles used for the tennis matches. You can check out my full review I have linked above here as well, which I'll go into more detail on that about what I did really enjoy. But unfortunately, I felt like there were a lot of slow-paced moments in this movie that were kind of unnecessary and could have been edited out, where we see characters just kind of sitting around and not doing much. And there's a really odd audio track in this movie where they kind of use the same EDM song over and over again, and that's kind of the primary song that they use for most of the movie. So there's some odd things like that where I think this movie could have been edited better. But it wasn't a terrible movie. There were great acting performances. So again, check out my full review I have linked above. Then next, though, I saw the movie Boy Kills World. Now, this is another one I was excited to see because I'm a big fan of Bill Skarsgård, who has the leading role in this film. He was really great in the It movies when he played Pennywise, and I've been wanting to see him in more movies since then. And he did do really well in this movie with all these action sequences this movie had. The action sequences in this movie, I would say, were on par with films like John Wick and Monkey Man. But on the other side of things, the plot here was kind of just taken from other movies. It was very similar to something like Hunger Games, just not nearly as well developed or as intriguing. And then they tried to put some comedy into this movie that's similar to what we see in the Deadpool movies, where the main character doesn't really speak, but then we hear some voiceover comedy of what's going on in his head. And it was poorly executed and just wasn't funny. So unfortunately, the only thing that stood out for me in this movie was these action sequences, and I think this movie needed a lot of work before it was actually released. So this was not my favorite movie at all, but if you did want to see Bill Skarsgård in some intense, violent fighting sequences, this isn't a bad movie for that. Now, moving on, the last movie that I saw in the theater this week was the film Unsung Hero, which was my favorite movie that I watched in the theater this week. This movie told the story of Rebecca St. James, a very popular Christian artist, and her family as they moved from Australia to the United States to pursue a career in the music industry. The film focuses mainly on her father's struggle to provide for their family, but then shares how Rebecca St. James got her first record deal and then went on to have a successful career and help support her family and everything, which eventually led to her brothers creating the band for King and Country and a career for her father as well as a manager. So it was a great story that kind of started out just sharing the family struggles and how their faith in God got them through their struggles, and then went more into how this family got into the music industry and everything. So I really enjoyed this movie. I would highly recommend it, whether you're already a fan of these artists or not. You can see my full review of Unsung Hero linked above as well. And then now to move on to what I watched at home this week. So the first movie I watched at home this week was the film The Reaping. This is featuring Hilary Swank and Idris Elba. Now these are both very talented actors, and I wanted to give this movie a try despite its low ratings that I've seen it has online, because I picked this up at Half Price Books recently on Blu-ray and thought it looked like kind of an interesting horror thriller kind of movie. And honestly, it was a pretty good movie that kind of exceeded my expectations. Going into this, I saw the low reviews it had and tried not to get my expectations too high, but it really delivered on being very mysterious, having some thrilling moments, kind of keeping you guessing about what's going to happen next and what different characters' motives are and everything. And Hilary Swank and Idris Elba have great acting performances in here as well, and they were a great duo for this movie. So I actually do highly recommend this movie, even though it has some poor ratings online. I really enjoyed watching it, and it reminds me of some other films like Shutter Island and different things that kind of keep you guessing throughout. So definitely check out The Reaping. I'll have a link in the description below where you can check out that movie if you'd like. Then the second movie I watched this week was my wife and I watched the movie Legally Blonde. My wife is already a fan of this movie, and it's been many years since I've seen it, so we decided to give it a try the other night on DVD for my collection, and Reese Witherspoon has a great performance in this movie. It's a very funny movie, and it's definitely a product of its time. It came out in 2004, and there's a lot of references to that culture in this movie, and it's just a lot of fun to watch and has kind of an uplifting storyline that's kind of motivational even as well. So if you enjoy kind of those early 2000s movies that came out, you probably like this one as well, and it's definitely one that I could see myself watching with my wife over and over again over the years, as it's kind of a classic comedy movie. And so if you want to check that one out, I'll link to that in the description down below also. But that's what I've been watching this week. So let me know in the comments what you've been watching this week as well, as I love hearing from you guys about what you're watching at home too. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and bell notification button down below to stay updated on my next videos I have releasing. And if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button too. I always enjoy sharing with you what I've been watching and what I've been up to, so stay tuned for the next videos. I have a lot of exciting content coming out in the next weeks, but otherwise I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for stopping by.